Because I was just saying, because I'm a professional. Uh, Welcome everyone to Variant Roles. I am Dan Gaston, your host and game master for this evening. MadSciDM on Twitter, and this is MCG Mix Tape, and we're here with some Bleeding Edge and some familiar faces. Oh, boy. All right. Thanks, everyone. So I am just going to let people go around and introduce themselves. And we're going to start with Val. Val, how are you doing?
No, hey, that's me. Every time I think of Matt and my voice just goes, oh, hey, that's me. Hi, I'm Val. You caught the tail end of me going like at the overlay, which is great. I'm playing today 13, who is. Do we introduce characters?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, introduce your character and their character sentence.
She is a mysterious, skilled, and knowledgeable warrior who murders in the future, which already sounds foreboding. And we both use she, her pronouns.
Excellent. I love it. She murders in the future. So that whole like be the knife you want to see in the world.
It's one of my moves is literally about knives.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's keep going and we'll kick it over to Adam.
Hello, I'm Adam. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Adam_J_Pearson. Tonight I will be reprising my role as Cole McNamara, the honorable combat-trained explorer who is licensed to carry in the near future. Essentially a combination of Indiana Jones, Laura Croft, and Lintel Irune, if you know that from Campaign Podcast. Yeah, very exciting.
I love it. I like that we've got murders, license to carry. This is going to work out great. All right, continuing around. Anders.
Hi, I'm Anders. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me at Anders_D_K on the interwebs. Tonight I am playing Sophie. She uses she, her pronouns, and she is a inquisitive technological explorer who builds robots.
Excellent, excellent. So hopefully we'll see how much of the robots. Well, the robot came in last time, and we'll see how that plays out tonight. And last but not least, we get Kyle.
Hey, I'm Kyle. You could find me here and on Twitter and other places as TechnoScald, and I am playing Duvayan Sertaz, a brash technological warrior who fuses flesh and steel.
Excellent, excellent. Love it. All right. So we are going to do something a little bit different tonight because we're going to do a whole lot of using of generative procedural fiction and a lot of player input on what's happening and what's going on in the world. So it's MCG Mixtape. We debut and promo stuff from Monty Cook Games. And I'm going to be using this handy Ruin deck, the Numenera Ruin deck, quite a lot today and next week, because this will be a two-parter. So this is Operation Tartarus, Part 1. So the primer for our players, who all, of course, work for Watchtower, keeping an eye out on existential threats to the transhumanity as a whole throughout all of human settled space, are going to the system of Tartarus. Particularly, we're interested in the planet Tartarus 4 and some ruins that have been found there, some alien ruins that you are going to explore. So this is outside of the solar system. We are somewhere in the network of worlds that humanity has gained access to throughout the galaxy. And we need to figure out a little bit about these ruins to start. So I have some questions and prompts for you. First, we need to decide, are these ruins on the planet Tartarus 4 or are they in orbit around Tartarus 4?
I like an orbit.
Yeah, I was kind of a fan of an orbit too.
In orbit, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are in orbit. Perfect. And the nature, is this a derelict alien ship, or is it a derelict alien space station?
The second one. Oh yeah.
One vote, space station.
I'll go with that. I'm
Space
happy with that.
All right. All right, and so you have come here in your own ship. What is the name of your ship that you are using?
Are we not using this? We're not using the same ship from last time, right? Or are we?
You could use the same ship if you wanted. You could use a different ship. Totally up to you. You last time had basically a warship that was sort of disguised as a cargo ship.
What was? I don't. Let me find my notes. I don't remember the name of that ship.
I'm just seeing if I have.
Pretty sure Alexis came up with the name of it, and I don't remember what it was. And I know Alexis is watching. If she remembers what the name of the show was.
I definitely wrote it down, but I think I didn't write it in my perma notes. I wrote it on just loose scrap paper.
We must summon the spirit of Loretta.
The AI was named Cyrus.
The AI was named Cyrus.
In fact, I was the one who suggested the name Solar Wind.
Solar Wind. That's right. That's right.
Any of you IT people out there know exactly why.
Yeah, Alexis named the AI. That's what it was.
Right, and basically all of my AIs, it had a the ship had a silky smooth
In my ass.
Excellent. All right, so you have arrived on the Solar Wind with Cyrus, and I assume are going to dock with the station. So the station has a unusual configuration. It doesn't have, so most human space stations, human-built space stations, take a few different forms. So O'Neill cylinders, quite common. So large cylinders, either hollowed out asteroids or purpose-built, that rotate, right, to provide something simulating gravity. The other would be like either ring or like hub and spoke type station configurations. Those would be sort of the range of what you would see. Or there'd be old stations that don't spin, don't have artificial gravity, and people just stay on the float the entire time. Or there's like a few other random configurations. This station looks like almost like a miniature, partially constructed Dyson sphere. So whether it's unfinished or was purposely in this configuration is hard to tell, but it has the appearance of basically a sphere, but it only has like sort of plating and enclosure covering about 3/4 of its surface area. But there's like networks of, I guess we could describe it from a distance, would look like tubing that crisscross, through the interior of the station. You can see as you're coming in on the Solar Wind, you can see like nodules and growths, like places where these like tubing structures meet, and you have like bulging other sort of spherical structures, and it looks very organic.
So it looks almost like it's grown.
Almost like it's grown, yeah.
So you said it looks like a miniature Dyson sphere, and maybe only 3/4 of the surface is
it's
covered.
Smaller than the planet.
So that is my question: is normally like a real Dyson, like a full Dyson sphere, encloses
a solar system.
Are we able to see what's at the center of this from our ship?
So you don't see, you don't see a star burning, and it seems dark and dim. But given the array of this, I guess I should describe it as like a lattice work, right, on the interior with junctions and things like that. Given the density, you can't see the center, and your scans don't really give you much indication other than there is some sort of structure in the very middle, but that it's not possible for the ship to fly into the interior that far. Like, it can't penetrate, it's too big.
It's like
Yes, I
a
did
really
put the
big
mature
orb.
content warning on.
So the sphere is smaller than our ship.
No, the sphere is
No,
bigger.
Oh.
The lattice work is too dense on the inside to fly all the way to the center.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the ship would,
I see.
totally fit inside.
To small moon?
Yeah, basically. So yes, Tartarus 4 is a gas giant, and the station is reminiscent of a small moon.
But it is no small moon.
This in no way is a ripoff of the Death Star 2. Hashtag not the Death Star.
Well, our scans can't see much past the surface, except to say that there is a structure inside of it. Do we see? Do our scans pick up any sort of other ships attached to it, or coming and going, or is it completely seems like completely abandoned? And similar related question: do we see any sort of like docking bays or ports like that?
Excellent, good question. So why don't we see, using the dice, what you can make out from your scans? So we tend to, just because it's better for the players to do anything, we don't assume that the AI is like omnipotent and can do everything. But if you get its assistance, it will count as an asset. And since you're using the ship's systems and scanners, it would totally make sense to count the AI as an asset. So, who is going to sort of take the lead of operating the sensor equipment and interpreting the scans that come back?
Not Cole?
No.
How about Sophie? You were me. You know what, Sophie? I got this one. There'll be plenty of stuff to take apart later, I'm sure.
I'm just sitting on the floor, taking apart my robot and not paying at all attention.
Great. Wonderful. Perfect. Yes, I've got this.
Okay, so we'll do this as an open challenge, because that's the best way to learn Cypher System, is when you know the targets you're shooting for and can work through the math.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so this is not terribly difficult. You're running a scan. It's an alien space station, but we assume you've got good sensors. Outside of the fact that the AI is an asset, I sort of, you've got a lot of good stuff. So the challenge here, well, actually, in Cypher, we just set the difficulty level. All that stuff comes in to adjust it. So I'm going to say that the challenge level here is a 5. It's like a medium difficulty. Right? So that means if we didn't apply anything, right, you have to roll 3 times higher than that. So you'd have to roll a 15 or higher on a d20 roll. But all of the things that we can apply to reduce the difficulty will reduce that difficulty by 1 step every time. And finally, you can always spend effort. So in this case, we've already said the AI is going to be an asset for you.
Okay.
And I am going to say that the sensors are, like, the sensors have their own sort of, smart systems in them. Those will be an asset as well. So you've got two levels of assets, basically the max you can get. So, like, someone else helping you interpret this is not going to help, because between the AI and the smart sensor suite, like someone staring over your shoulder is not going to make it better. So
Right.
that reduces it from a 5 to a 3. So we've reduced
So
it by 2.
I am trained in computers.
Perfect. So that skill will apply. So because you are trained and not specialized, that will also reduce it by 1 more step. So we're at a 2.
Okay.
And if you so with that, you only need to roll a 6 or higher,
which is good.
Which is pretty good. And finally, you can spend a level of effort, which will reduce it 1 more step. So spending a level of effort takes 3 points out of your, in this case, intellect pool. And any of that spend is reduced by your edge. So if you have an edge in intellect, that will subtract off.
I do not have edge in intellect, but I do have a pretty significant intellect pool. Significant for level 1, I mean.
And while in Cypher, like, your pools are integral to your hit points, like, we really encourage you should be spending.
Right.
Rests are easy. You've got a lot of, you've got a rest that's an action, right? So, yeah.
No, I think it's, no. So I spend, that means I spend 3 points out of my pool, right?
You spend 3 points out of your pool.
Okay.
So that will reduce it to a 1, so you only need to roll 3 or higher.
Okay. That is as good as I think I'm going to really get. And it's a 16.
Excellent. Not high enough to get a special effect. So you have sensor data pouring back in, and you're interpreting it. You don't see no other human ships that you have detected. So at least so within range too, because of course you're only scanning sort of the interior and 1/2, right? So because the other side of the station is in shadow, unless you're gonna, do a big sweep around. There are a few things that flags in the interior that it can't totally tell, but they might possibly be ships, just given their size and shape compared to everything else in the interior. And but it does absolutely find several options for places for you to dock.
Okay, so we don't see ships, we do see docking bays.
Yeah, it just given the configuration of some of the nodes and some of the sensor readings it's picking up, it pings them. Nothing is pinging at 100%, but it's like, we've seen some alien tech before, right? So some things are within familiarity. The posterior probabilities on the decision matrix are like shooting up to like 95% probability.
Gotcha. No, I'll turn to the rest of the crew. Well, is there any reason not to dock? We can send Sophie in first.
I feel like that's not a good idea, but
No, I would vote against that one.
I think that's exactly where Sophie does best, is entering a strange technological structure ahead of everyone else.
Okay. That's fine. What are we doing? What?
It's not a moon, it's a space station.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go in.
Okay. And
we
going
want
first.
to know what's there.
Okay, I can do that.
And we'll be right behind you. I mean, not right behind you. We'll be behind you.
I got it. I got a wrench. It's fine. I'll just hit things.
I'm going to slowly turn to look at Cole like, okay.
Listen, what happens is Sophie breaks things, and while Sophie is off breaking something over here, I'll go over to whatever tech we actually want to work with and make that happen. It's like distracting a child. With a child who can pull really hard on wires and has a big wrench.
Damn it, Kyle, I'm trying to be stoic here.
Don't bother.
Oh, so many missed joke opportunities. Okay, so which one do you want to babysit? Do you want to babysit this one or the one with the wrench?
Hey, I don't need any babysitting.
I'll take the
Oh.
wrench.
Of course you don't, darling. Okay, so I'll take that one. After you. And I point to Davine.
No, Sophie's first.
I will go. Have we docked?
I was gonna ask, are you taking the ship into dock somewhere yet?
I'm just gonna walk out the airlock.
Ah!
Was my
No, Sophie.
recommended course of action. I didn't dock the ship without agreeing that we have consensus.
Shortest two-parter ever. We all die in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, and Sophie's body is just floating in the void.
Oblivious, but not that oblivious.
Okay. So are you gonna take the ship in manually, or are you gonna let the ship dock itself?
I think that no, definitely I will do that.
Oh, like
Unless 13 has a problem with that.
I am not a pilot, so I cannot help.
I can pilot things of a starship nature, possibly.
Yeah. Does any of you have any skills or abilities relevant to flying starships?
I have 0, but I have confounding, which allows me to pull one ability out of nowhere with no explanation.
Yeah, I think in our setting, this would be like very much a like jacking into the Matrix kind of moment, where you jack in and it's like, Cyrus, I need to know kung fu.
Cyrus, give me bullet fu.
I mean, listen, if it's just a matter of the computers, I can take care of this. If you're not so sure, perhaps we can leave your confoundness for a dicier situation.
I mean, using computers and piloting, I feel like are very different things.
No, I'm sure they're the same. I'm sure that I can handle this. You're worried about nothing.
Okay, I'm just going to walk over and start piloting this because that seems like the best course of action out of the 3.
Wait, Sophie, can you pilot?
No, but Orb can. I mean,
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. He's not done it before, but he's a robot, so.
all right. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go pilot this. No one, Cole, watch everything, and I'm gonna go over and try and pilot the ship.
I'm standing right behind you with my arms crossed, just ready. So, as a reminder, so for those, we didn't do this part of the introduction. Basically, the left side of my body is all cybernetics. And on my head, my sort of like helmet, like sort of like a very tight-fitting helmet. It's made so it looks like you can see like the left side of my head is a cybernetic brain, but it's really just the casing on top of my head. But yeah, basically from the shoulder down, everything on my left side is cybernetics, and the rest of it is organic flesh.
I'm going to take a moment to say in player, dope. Okay, now we're back to stoic. Oh.
Meanwhile, Cyrus is like the narrator cuts to Cyrus's inner monologue, and he's like, "God damn meatbags! I could fly this in myself." I'm just gonna venom out an airlock when they're asleep. Anyway, so yes, absolutely. So you want to pilot it in. Basically, the scan that you ran, you've got several options for your places where it thinks you can dock. None of them look better than the other, so you can pretty much eeny, meeny, miny, moe it if you wish. And then we can pilot it in. And I'm going to say to manually pilot it in and dock, is going to be a level 6 challenge.
Alrighty then. Would it be possible to use perception to try and help lower the challenge rating?
Let's see. So yeah, so because you can have sort of up to 2 skills sometimes apply. Perception in this case would just be you like judging everything and sort of your awareness as opposed to piling skill. So absolutely, we'll let that apply.
Can
Cyrus can help you, or
I was gonna say I can. I don't know if this applies, but I could. I'm trained in computers, so if there's a way that I can help with that, I would like to.
no, I think in this case you would need the piloting skills, kind of what's needed. Cyrus as an AI NPC does have piloting as a skill, so Cyrus can assist you.
Oh.
So we've gone from a 6 to a 5 to a 4.
Okay,
So
and
that's a 12 or higher. And
I've just completely blanked. Do we roll 2d6s?
No, this is a d20.
Oh, that makes way more sense. I was left there like, I've completely blanked on what dice we roll.
Yeah, and you can spend effort here. I think you have your choice in this case because you're piloting a starship. Reflexes are something, but smarts also apply. So you can. I will let you spend from either your speed or intellect pool in this case.
And remind me how we do that again?
Yeah. So to apply a level of effort, which you can only apply up to a level of one level of effort right now because you're a tier 1 character. So that will reduce the difficulty one more step. And it costs 3 points out of the relevant pool. And if you have an edge, which in your case you've got an edge of 1 in probably at least one of your pools, that will subtract off of the cost.
Okay. I got a 13. Was that high enough?
So that's... Oh, you rolled a 13. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we decided whether we spend effort before we roll. But yes, that is enough. You only needed a 12. So you're sitting there sort of pressing buttons, beep, boop, boop, and Cyrus is making adjustments, and you dock.
Thank you, Cyrus, darling. You were wonderful.
So what happens is solar wind comes into one of these nodes in the lattice work and sort of flags an area that looks like it's probably a docking bay. You can see a sort of couple circular iris type structures or openings. And when solar wind gets close, one of these openings, irises open, revealing sort of a darkened hole, and several tubular sort of objects kind of shoot out, and there is a thunk as they grapple onto the side of the ship and orient and like pull it in. And then this large, like ribbed, sort of circular, right, tube kind of comes out of the opening and then clamps onto the ship over your airlock.
Last one out's rotten egg. Come on.
Before Sophie can get very far,
I was going to say that Sophie's cue.
Do we have? I'm assuming we have because we knew we were exploring ruins. Some kind of the equivalent of solar exploration or space exploration suits, like vacuum suits.
Yeah, because we haven't worried too much about equipment other than your signature equipment. So you have like environment suits. You have your choice. You can take a regular environment suit, which doesn't really hinder your movement. It's like almost like a spray-on polymer with like helmets and like some clamps, and doesn't restrict your movement. It also doesn't provide armor, or like, provides a little bit of protection against, obviously space. But a little bit against heat and things like that too, so it might help with any ambient damage, but it doesn't provide armor. But it also, because it's not armor, it doesn't cost you extra speed if you're spending from your speed pool. Or there's like the tactical, suits, which are spacesuits with armor, and you've got a whole rack of them from light, medium to heavy.
Is there like a synthwave equivalent spacesuit?
So that would be interesting because that will be like perhaps a light armor that provides more like a medium armor protection. So like 2 points of armor, but it's effectively light armor.
Oh, I thought synthwave was only one.
It depends on what you're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, right. You mean in my document?
Yeah. Because you
Yes.
have very expensive light armor as DR medium, but I was thinking more of just like light, basically light armor spacesuit, not regular spacesuit.
Yeah, that would be
sense.
the light armor spacesuit would be the equivalent of that. Yeah.
I would go with that.
Yeah.
I would second that one.
It basically looks like the environment suit, but it's got a hex diamond sort of graphene pattern over the polymer, which is the synthweave.
And then I will bring my weapons as well.
I will go with just thick non-armor. Because I am not good in armor.
Okay. Perfect.
And Devine wears nothing. He just goes out into the void as he is.
Technically, I can.
Half of me does, half of me doesn't. I'm taking the basic thin one and my weapons. You know what? I'm not taking my rifle, just my pistol.
Okay. Excellent. So you go to the airlock and go through into the station. And so you pass through an airlock, and you're into some sort of structure on the other side of this like flexible tube that's connecting your ship to the station. And there appears to be like a membrane type structure closing off the end of that tube structure, like sort of between it and the rest of the station.
Gravity.
You were super quiet, but
Sorry.
I think that you asked if there was gravity.
Yes, yeah. Is there gravity?
There is not. There is no artificial gravity, so you're sort of pushing yourself down through the tube. Your boots do have mag locks, so if there's a metallic interior, they can connect to it.
Orb can float. Can I hold on to him and have him just like pull me?
Absolutely. You can hold on to Orb, and Orb just down the tube.
That's adorable.
In classic Amos from the Expanse style, I have my heavy rifle out, and I'm just like kind of bring up the rear, just waiting for shit to go wrong.
Yep. Okay.
No, there's no way. There's no way I'm letting her get out of my sight. I'm following her along. I don't know. So did we find metallic surfaces, or are we?
So you're still in the docking tube. So it appears to be quite organic, although it's scanning and it is picking up metal.
Would you call it more of a proboscis?
Yeah, it sort of has that kind of resemblance, like being inside a proboscis. And then, but the end, like when you get to the end of it, sort of, where a door would be on one of your, is sort of this gray, membranous structure.
One of you with the tech like to do the honors of opening the door?
Is there
Knifey here?
Is there any sort of like control panel or anything nearby? Or is it just a membrane wall?
Well, so why don't we do a little bit of a search and investigation?
All right.
If this was a human station, you'd spot it right away. You'd be familiar, right? Because the difficulty level would be like a 0. In this case, I'm going to say it's somewhat unfamiliar. We're going to call this a difficulty level of a 3.
Okay.
So let's start seeing what you might have skill-wise and effort. Do you have any skills in, like... Actually, you have an inability in...
Hear or notice danger. Is this
danger? Okay.
Is this dangerous?
No.
Okay.
Sophie has like flight of ideas. Sophie's very like squirrel. Okay, so do you have any skills related to like observation, investigation, searching?
Learning new things? Maybe not.
Probably not. Not in this case.
Then no, I don't think I have any.
So if you wish, you can spend a level of effort from your intellect pool. So you would spend 3 points out of intellect, minus edge if you have an edge in intellect.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, and that reduces it 1 step, so we go through from a 3 to a 2.
All right.
So you need to roll a 6 or higher.
11.
Excellent. So you're searching around, and you do indeed find something reminiscent of a control panel on the side. And my question is, what does that look like?
So this is kind of organic. So I'm kind of picturing those weird sort of wraith-like control panels from Stargate Atlantis, where it's like you can like see the glows of things behind it, like the circuitry, but it's kind of grown over with this like thin membrane. So you kind of have to like push into it a little bit to control it.
Yep. Excellent.
I think if we I was gonna start touching it. Is it open?
You know what? It's fine. I was going to suggest that our one with the knife here just cut through the membrane, so that's fine.
I'll just touch it. Stick my hand in.
Okay. So you're just gonna start sort of mashing in the thing. All right. So blindly operating and sort of bashing at it. We'll sort of basically provide like a situational hindrance, so it gets a little bit harder than it actually has to be. So we'll take it from, it was a 7 because it's, unfamiliar alien technology, and it's going to go to an 8.
Is this a machine?
It is indeed a machine.
Can I use my
machine interface?
Yeah, can I interface with this membrane?
Absolutely. So you can spend your intellect to activate that, and that will provide an asset. So what does it look like when you connect your machine interface to this alien technology?
So I have a toolkit. And I start pulling out things, and I get out this like, it almost looks like a taser. And as I sort of plug it in, I like pull a cord out of it and stick it into this like little tablet. And this is like how I communicate with robots and things. And it just sort of starts to spark because you're clearly being held together by like duct tape at this point. But it works.
This is very Stargate, like the tablet and like jacking in the leads.
We were talking about it. It's on my mind.
We were. I can picture Rodney doing this right now. Okay, so that provides an asset. So we go from an 8 to a 7.
Okay, can Orb help me?
Orb can definitely help you here.
Okay.
Orb has some skills. So we go from a 7 to a 6. And do you have any skills relevant to like hacking or...
Not hacking.
Duvain?
Duvain does. Duvain has...
You muted yourself, Kyle.
Sorry?
You're muted again, Kyle.
Yeah, I had it on push to talk and forgot. Okay. Duvain has trained in computer skill and also has a data jack, which might not apply here. But I do have a tinker, which lets me take a device and do something different from its original purpose.
Yep, or to overload it. So in this case, if you were going to tinker with the control panel that presumably opens the door, what would you want it to do? That wasn't its original
I was
purpose?
thinking more about tinkering to be able to help in some way to connect into the interface. So I'm just trying to assist my comrade Sophie.
Yeah, we sort of assume that tech is advanced enough that you can connect with. You've got like universal connectors,
even for ancient alien ruins.
Yeah, you've got like adaptive nanotech plugs.
Is this like Jeff Goldblum's Mac from
That's
Independence Day? Yeah,
that's right. Just load a virus in there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to help out Sophie. It took Adam a minute.
No, yeah.
So you could jack in there and help with your hacking.
Okay.
Your computer skills. All right, so we've got it down to a 5, and finally, Sophie, you could spend a level of effort from your intellect pool.
I will do that.
Okay.
Just keep using up my smarts. There they go.
Better than you than me.
So we got it down to a 4, so you only need 12 or higher.
13.
All right. So what is it like when Sophie is essentially like Duvain is doing some actual hacking help, but Sophie is like randomly pushing at things to get the door to open. So what's that like?
So she's plugged into it, so she's like tapping on her tablet and she like smacks it a couple times, and at one point the membrane like partially opens and then it closes, and then I'm kind of picturing like another layer closes and she's like pushes another button and then boop, boop, and it opens.
All right.
It is
and it like irises open, right? Like it does that like from the middle. You can't hear it through your helmets, but it sucks back into the recesses, and there is like a small darkened room, much like an airlock that you would expect on the other side.
I'm just going to turn to 13 and kind of like mouth the words like, that was me, I did it.
I'm going to lean over to Cole and say, we're either going to die really, really horribly, or somehow one of them is going to blow us up.
Yep. That checks out.
Do I have to babysit him? Yes. Okay, fine, I'll do it.
I'll click the lights on, I guess, in our helmets or whatever, because I'm guessing they have some kind of light source.
Built-in flashlights. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I just pictured Cole and 13 just like pressing their helmets together instead of talking over suit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. just like a helmet bop.
Yeah. Okay.
Noise transfer.
That's the only way to keep me from hearing.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
And there is a similar control type structure now that you know what you're looking for. On like there's an interior door and a similar control panel.
Is the floor still organic like, or is it looks like more metallic?
It still has this like oily sort of sheen and this like gray, almost fleshy material, but your sensors are picking up heavier sort of metal, and it looks more solid.
Shall we?
Yeah, I'm already through. I'm going through.
I will follow that one.
I am thoroughly distracted by this control panel that I've just opened, and I want to see if I can maybe learn a new thing about how this technology works to make it easier to do this in the future.
Okay.
See if I can understand it a little better, so next time I'm not hitting blindly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna sort of just assume that, like, since you messed around enough with the control panel, that you and Duvain sort of have enough information to at least do the, like, open and close on doors. You don't know what else you could do from these control panels, but you at least know that.
Okay, cool. Then I'll follow.
Did Sophie bring weapons with her or not?
I have a very big wrench.
Okay, that's good. 13's just gonna walk over to you and go, "Oh, Sophie, darling, you have a wonderful wrench, but would you mind holding on to this just for me?" And she passes you a knife because she worries.
I mean, I'd rather hit things than stab things, because this is
Oh,
does
sure,
more
but-
smack.
But you can cut things apart with this, and it'll make things far easier.
Just think when you want to pry something open.
Exactly.
Fine. But I like my wrench.
Your wrench is beautiful. Nice.
Alright, so are you gonna cycle through the airlock?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Duvain's through, or trying to go through. Anyway, Duvain was basically, he's not waiting for everybody else. I'm headed in.
If Devane is trying to make his way through, 13 is just going to watch him make his way through and then kind of slowly follow behind.
Well, I mean, it's an airlock, remember, right? So you basically have to all enter, you gotta close the outer door, you have to then open the interior, like, it's a whole process, right?
I didn't know if it was like enough room for like one person has to go at a time sort of thing.
No, it could definitely fit several of you.
Yeah, I'll be the last one in, and I'll like try to like hit the button that Sophie's pointed out as to close the airlock. I hope.
Yeah. Well, probably someone has to connect in to do it. You haven't necessarily figured out what the buttons mean, how to operate it that way.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, I got a data jack.
Yeah, so you can basically connect in.
The button stopped working.
Well, that was the outside panel, not the inside panels. So yeah, if you plug in, you can close it and open it up, and you enter the station proper. Your headlamps pick up a large space, and this appears to be sort of, you entered one of these nodules in the lattice work. Sort of, the airlock was a little blister on the outside of this larger structure that looked like it was probably a few city blocks kind of in size, right? Because this is a fairly big space altogether. And your headlamps pick up, your headlamps are picking up a little bit of sort of fog. There is some sort of atmosphere in here. It's not hard vacuum. And your suits, though, are reading that it's heavy on ammonia in the atmosphere. It's definitely not breathable. And there are these crystal column structures that are growing up all through the room. There appear to be two exits that you can see sort of sweeping the room with your headlamps. There's one to your left and one straight ahead. And as you step into the room, the columns start glowing with a small blue light. And it sort of pulses up through the columns from the floor into the ceiling. Pretty slow. There's only one pulse every couple of seconds.
Did it seem like the columns pulsed in response to our entry, or in response to the door opening? Like, does it seem like it's motion sensitive, or is it like the door opened and then the column started pulsing before we got into the room?
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
Would we even have seen if they were pulsing before we got in there?
I mean, when the door opened, they weren't, like, you didn't immediately see it. There's probably a little bit of a delay, but...
Okay. All right.
Yes, this is precisely what we're here for. The fusion of organic materials and crystalline lattices.
I think we're just here to make sure nothing's going to kill us and then see if we can make a profit off of it. But that's just me.
Yeah, that wasn't in our job description. My manifesto looked like his manifesto.
You guys got a manifesto? I'm floating upside down, just like gently down the hallway.
I'm going to go
I
get
want to be
her.
clear.
No, I got it.
Sophie. I think Sophie's the best.
I have a talent that lets me assess danger. Is there any way I can use that on these crystallines?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have the Peter tingles.
Spidey senses.
All right.
I have the opposite.
Pull up. And, all right. And what... so that's an ability? Or is it one of your skills?
It's one of the skills that you get. With skilled and knowledgeable warrior, you get 2 investigative skills and 2 knowledgeable skills.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, so you're basically trained in assessing danger. All right. So this will be a hidden. This will be a hidden challenge. You won't know its exact level, but we will see. So you've got that 1 skill. So that's a level. So you're reducing this unknown by 1 step. And this would be intellect, so you could spend from your intellect pool to reduce it further.
We'll spend that intellect, of which I have so much.
Yeah, so you spend 3, and that will reduce it by 1 step. So you've reduced this challenge by 2 steps.
Reduce time by 2 steps. Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Dice don't fail me now. 19!
Boom, boom, boom. All right.
No,
Perfect.
19!
Excellent. So 19 also gets you an added effect. In this case, it just means you're like you don't just notice the threat; you notice the threat real hard. So you pick up everything. The crystals themselves don't appear to be a threat. But they are probably dangerous. You're noticing off your suit there's some energy readings that just look like there is power flowing through these crystals. So tampering with them might not be the best idea. As in, like,
to look
breaking them, they
at,
might explode.
I'm going to look directly at Duvain and Sophie wherever she is floating and relay this information.
No touching.
No touching.
No. That's the exact indication that we should. This is what we came for.
No. Duvet, I swear to all stars that if I see you go near that thing, I will come after you and I will kick you in places that hurt.
They're all metal.
Darling, I have very strong boots.
You know they're armored now.
They are armored boots, so they get...
Anyway.
Don't touch the thing.
No touchy, got it.
And I'm going to also point at Duvain and go, also, that was me. I did that. I assessed that.
Fine. But here for technology and perhaps to make a profit while we're at it.
Yes.
Sounds like the best of both worlds.
And
the power source
technology that would be super valuable.
The
No,
power
Duvain.
the power source that explodes is not super valuable if it explodes.
And we can't get profit if we're dead.
The best. I'm sure that our employers could use things that explode.
Yes, but perhaps we should explore more than just the foyer of this strange place.
Okay, fine. Do we pick up any have you picked up any movement on your sensors there, Naifu?
Do I pick up any? Please tell me he says that in canon. That he just got 13 Naifu. She's going to look at him and be like, actually, I don't hate it. I've got to admit that.
Anyway, do you pick up any movement, any dangers that are not static and structural?
Can I use perception to check if there are any danger? Can Naifu check if there are dangers?
you can, yes, absolutely.
Oh my god, this is in my. Thank you, Kyle. This is now in my head. Okay. Perception.
Yeah. So again, the challenge here will be hidden because this is a kind of there's always a tension on when they should be open and when the challenges should be hidden, and I think these kind of things makes more sense to be hidden. Yeah. So if you have any skills, so you've got the whole noticing danger thing, so that seems like it should apply.
I have assessing danger and perception.
Yes. All right. So both of those can apply. So you've got 2 skills applying, and you can also apply a level of effort from intellect if you wish.
I'm running low on that intellect pool. You know what? I'll do it. YOLO.
It's true. Except you can be put in a new body, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the future, and it was a 7, so I noticed nothing.
So you roll a 7?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't see any threats. It might not have been that hard, right? So you're not sure.
Dan, you have your scheming face on.
That's just his face. That's what it looks like.
That's just my
It's
face.
always scheming.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I could have been wearing my "Let's Make a Deal" shirt.
So yeah, just gonna look to Dubé and say, "Hey, I don't detect any movements or creeping around yet. This is a very big station."
Ship big.
Ship bay, yes. It's not a moon.
It is a very big ship bay.
I have floated off. We've just kept going throughout all of this.
Well, I thought there were doors. Weren't there doors, or were there?
Yeah. So there's a
a
room. The main feature is these crystals. There's a door sort of straight ahead, and there was a door to the left.
Yeah, because I was basically holding either onto you, Sophie, or like follow.
Then I'm just sort of bobbing in place.
Yeah.
I mean, have you tested your boots yet, Cole?
I would have, yeah.
Yeah. So when you click them on, they thunked to the floor. There's enough metal content to do that.
Enough ferrous content to have magnetic properties.
Exactly.
I assume Sophie doesn't want to be on the ground yet.
No.
So Sophie's just holding on to, what's your robot's name again?
Orb.
Orb, right? Perfect.
Yeah,
so you're just holding on to Orb.
I definitely put my
safety line.
Yeah, safety line on Sophie, so she can't get very far from me.
You know how kids will swing upside down on the monkey bars on the playground?
Yes.
She's got her legs like up over Orb like that, and it's just upside down, pigtails swinging beneath her and just floating.
Well, in the helmet,
your
the
pigtails
are like underneath a cap, and
I don't have pigtail openings in my helmet.
Not if you don't want to die.
It's worth it for the aesthetic.
I need hair spots.
I mean, I've heard like beauty is pain like mantras before, but like I think beauty is death is not a good mantra.
So
aesthetic or death.
So I will tell you, Sophie, if you wish, perhaps you've had some custom modifications to your suit. So your pigtails don't come out, but you have these attachments to the helmet that are like perhaps part of the sensor equipment, like extra sensor equipment.
Absolutely.
For your whole thing, and they look like, mechanical, electromechanical pigtails.
I have become Entrapta. This is great.
Listen, I love Entrapta so much.
So, of course, left to their own devices in 0G, they're just going to be floating around, so they wouldn't hang. But you have to, run currents through them. You've probably put in something to make them stand up or stick down or whatever.
I love it. I love it so much.
So you want to go left or straight?
Player me just was like, would you go left or straight? And player me just went, straight, no.
It is.
You know what? I'm always fine with going left myself.
Yeah, just goes
Left it in.
immediately. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Left
doomed us all.
Okay. So when you operate through, so the doors are all closed, but again, you know how to work them here. It appears like, and you've noticed some lights blinking on the lights, so maybe some automated system long ago locked down all the doors, but it opens easily enough for you. The room on the other side only has one other exit leading out of it, which is sort of straight ahead, so directly across from you. But there appears to be a large object, a large device in the middle of the room. It takes the shape of a large spherical structure with some rings around it. There's chairs sort of all ringed around it, what look like chairs anyway, sort of more like stools. And there are small spheres that are floating around above this larger sphere.
Is it moving?
The big sphere? No, it's not moving, and there's no
I just meant like any part of this thing is
yes. The little spheres that are kind of just floating around are moving, sort of just
sort of like
around.
An orrery, kind of
Like an orrery, yeah, but like high tech.
Listen, I couldn't make an orrery. I'm sure it's high enough tech to me. Yeah, I think that I don't touch things. I just immediately I'm looking for a place to connect in, any sort of a control panel, anything that looks like it's made to be interfaced with either through a connection or through, kind of direct.
Okay. When you step up close to it, these rings that are around it, a few soft lights light up deep in the middle of the central sphere, and a little bit of light starts emanating from these discs, right? These ring discs around it, and they rotate a little bit until one of them is sort of horizontal in front of you. It goes all the way around, but it's oriented so that it's horizontal in front of you.
Yes. It was waiting for me.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I literally turned everybody else in character. So you see, it was just waiting for me, and I reach out to this disc. I want to see if I can connect to it or control it or whatever that is.
Yeah, it seems to be some sort of crystalline substrate, and humanity is already familiar that this is a common computational substrate. So you have devices that you can sort of just connect to these crystalline objects. You don't need a port. It sort of just clips on and can form connections with it directly.
Hey, Cole.
No, I'm connected in. Or I'm connecting in, I should say.
What, Sophie?
Give me a push. I won't go up there. Give me a push. You're holding on to me. Give me a push.
Well, my cord is on you, but sure, I'll push her since I have mag boots on.
Float up to the top.
No, hold it back there. I have it. I'm fine. I don't need any help.
Well, so she's like, I'm assuming you're floating up above it, sort of where those like little spheres are
Yeah.
sort of floating around. Yeah, so
Yeah,
well
the things
above
that look
you.
like orb.
She's just gonna break everything.
No, play nice.
Isn't there anything that she can go smash over there?
Play
Children, if you don't play nice, we're putting him back on the ship.
Like 13 Nicole or mom and dad.
Very well. So when you said I clip on, yeah, it's a clip on. When I clip on to this, what happens?
So it immediately more light. It sort of powers up, and little lights start blinking and glowing from all the little orbs that are floating around. One of which goes over to Sophie's orb, and sort of starts almost inspecting it, sort of floating around, and then two little almost eye-like things open up on this little orb and focus on orb and touch him, and those eye-like structures migrate off of the smaller sphere and then slide onto the surface of orb.
This is so cool. Orb, what's that feel like? Hey.
And Orb seems completely unaware of their existence. Orb doesn't know what you're talking about.
Can I plug into Orb? Do a diagnostic on him?
Yeah. And they don't show up on the sensors at all. It's like they don't exist.
I look to the other one. Is this so you can come with us? Are you going to spy on us? Are you going to be...
And it sort of just drifts off back to the others.
New friend. Okay.
Okay, so Duvain, you've clipped onto this machine. There's power. You're getting some readings that something appears to be active.
Yeah, I want to see if I'm in any way able to access any data. Is there any sort of files that I can access? Anything that I can kind of like? I'm looking for information loot.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think you have to spend one intellect with your data jack, right?
Information loot.
So you've spent that to sort of connect in and be active. So that gives you an asset. So now you're going to start monkeying around in an alien OS.
This is Unix. I know this.
Dear. Yeah, it turns out it's running DEC Alpha.
Listen,
right.
I was more of a Solaris guy. All right, so I'm definitely gonna start monkeying around in an alien OS. That's exactly what Duvain is for.
Absolutely. Okay.
And occasionally shooting things.
All right. So let's see. This will be an open challenge, but it's going to be hard. So we'll start this at an 8 because it's a alien OS. It's not totally an open system, and we'll go from there.
So first of all, I'm going to use my training in computers.
I'm good at the computers.
I know how to computer.
Yep. Okay. So we're at a 7.
Okay. I already spent one intellect on the data jack, so that probably already counts, right?
That's right. So that takes it to a 6. That asset.
Okay. Hey, Sophie. Can Orb help out with any of this?
Orb Sizzy.
Oh no. What did I do?
You started a thing now.
Orbs, busy. What is more important than this marvel before us?
We're busy. Come again later.
The orb you are trying to reach is currently being possessed by weird alien tech. Please try again later.
All right, well, I'm definitely going to spend a level of effort here
Okay.
from my intellect pool, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
You can spend 3 points there, so we reduce it to a 6.
Okay. I thought you said it was
Started-
a 6 a minute ago.
Or, yeah, sorry, we reduced it to a 5.
Okay. Sophie, really, I'm sorry for the things that I said, and I would like your assistance with this, please.
I'm trying to get one of the other balls to like come interface with me. I'm like sticking my head around them and like I want to communicate with a robot.
That's why I need your help.
Ignoring everything down below. This is her hyper focus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, those little orbs are like moving in interesting patterns.
Can I learn the pattern?
Absolutely. And what I am going to do is I am going to give you, we'll see, we might have to like flavor what this is, but I'm going to give you an asset card.
Ooh.
So this is from the asset deck. Alright, so I have just dealt you an asset card, and that is something that you can play and use at any time in the future. Like I said, we might have to reflavor exactly its nature, but can have that asset based off of learning this pattern, and we'll see if it's useful in the future. Alright, so you're sitting at a 5, Duvain.
Would I have tinkering with things? Would that help at all?
So tinkering makes something do something that it's not supposed to do.
Yeah, would yeah. Oh,
Is it
yeah.
supposed to be talking to humans?
Actually, I don't think I have. No, I took assessing danger instead of tinkering. I have no skills. I'm just watching Sophie and keenly watching those weird floaty lights with my pistol out.
The only thing I could possibly help with is I have the ability to decipher, which allows me to understand code or languages, but I don't know if this counts.
Code?
I would say that it does. Although to do so, you're gonna have to, be because Duvain has sort of this data stream going through him, sort of internally. So, do you have a means of connecting in?
I do not.
We can always have some technology that applies.
Can't you just, like, come stand next to me and use your data pad?
I suppose I could have a data pad on my wrist, like space here.
I mean, you're in a vac suit, you're in a tactical EVA suit. I would imagine you've got some sort of gizmos.
Probably you folks have a wireless bridge network, like an ad hoc point-to-point.
Super anti-Adama style, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Network all the things and give the computers all the processing power and neural networks they can handle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's built on the backbone of discovered alien technology, right? So, all right, so we'll let that apply. So that'll reduce it to a 4 as you basically start running through Cole's like decryption programs and algorithms. And so we need a 12 or higher.
That's a 10.
Excellent.
Wow.
Would you like a XP? Because I'm going to intrude here.
I would love an XP. There's
right.
nothing I would love more.
And who would you like to give the other one to?
Because I need 4 to get my next thing, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. I'm down. I'm good for it.
Okay. And so, who would you like to give the other XP to?
Cole.
Perfect.
Cole's jacked in with me.
Marks of
Sophie's
XP.
being an annoying git up there.
Sophie can't hear you. Sophie's busy.
Don't call each other names.
I apologize. that you
Reflex. Not calling names.
No calling each other names. You can call it after bedtime.
So, Duvain, deep in the recesses of your synthesized organic computer mind, something uncoils.
Oh
You can
no.
feel it come alive. Something that you picked up months ago on a previous mission. As Nebula awakes.
Nebula?
And it begins screaming through your synapses, burning cold through them.
Ooh, I'm gonna need some coffee after that.
So Nebula's death in the void's grip awakens and says, "Ah, home."
I am ready.
I just need something.
What do you need? And I like to think that maybe like he's kind of vocalizing this very quietly, and Cole's standing there right next to him while he's suddenly like, "Yes, I'm ready. What do you need?"
Gun comes out and goes right to his head.
And Nebula says, "I require all the information."
And in exchange,
This is on. Oh, I'm afraid that you don't have much choice.
you
What would
offer.
you like to facilitate this?
I'm sorry. What? I couldn't. I was talking. Sorry. My
Oh,
bad.
sorry. What would you offer, or what would you like if you're offering to open yourself?
Information, knowledge, data, understanding, Zaddy.
Natty, because it's Nebula. Oh dear. And
Val died. Val is dead.
Val's dead.
Oh god.
So
I'm just gonna mute myself quickly.
So Nebula just whispers
Let
and
me
says,
join and connect and know.
"Done."
And I heard
So-
none of that, right? I heard none of that.
That's right. So she starts firing through Duvain's synapses. But she needs something more, and Duvain and Cole are delightfully connected in this point-to-point data connection. And so, Cole, you can also feel these icy tendrils working their way through your computer system and ringing out over your radio, because of course you don't have like an internal connection, right? Cole
No, I would
keeps
say
that stuff.
Cole is actually weirdly unaugmented at all.
Yeah. So it's coming over the like radio. Your suit radio crackles to life, very Bioshock as it sort of like crackles, and then this tinny voice, but you don't understand, as just these like weird clicks and trills and almost nonsense sounds come through, as it's essentially attempting to hack, you know, those hacks that use like visual flashes into like a camera source to, right, so even
Open
if it's
the air
air
gap.
gapped, to overcome air gaps. That's essentially what it's doing. So it's trying to hack your brain even though you're air gapped through your auditory signaling processes. And who knows how it's going to read you.
Fantastic. So glad I said something in the chat. I'm so glad.
You summoned the Zaddy.
No regrets. Why did it have to be AI? It's always AI.
All right. So this is going to be like a resist roll against. You'll be using intellect, because this is essentially a mental attack.
Give in. Join us. Don't resist.
Well, I'm definitely spending a level of effort.
All right.
5.
Do you have any training in like skills around like mental defense or against interrogation or anything like that?
No, the only thing I have is pleasant social interactions, discerning motives, and seeing through lies.
Yeah, the closest would be maybe seeing through lies, but I think that's even quite a stretch.
That's a pretty big far jump.
That's a pretty far jump. So this is a level 7 challenge.
All right.
And you're spending a level of effort, so it's a 6. So it's possible. 18 or
I
higher.
did this.
This is your fault, Kyle.
I have brought him to you.
Nope. That's an 8.
Oh, okay. So you just start like blinking uncontrollably, and go sort of rigid for a minute. So 13 and Sophie, you basically just see Duvain is sort of abnormally still, and Cole goes rigid. So like sort of from his comfortable stance, he goes like very rigid and upright.
I'm gonna immediately be suspicious of this, walk over and look at Cole through his suit and just see if he can see me.
He's just blinking super rapidly, and appears to be unaware of what is happening. For all intents and purposes, he is stunned at the moment.
So is Duvain plugged into a console?
Duvain is plugged into a console.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the console.
Okay.
It looks like what I'm gonna do is, without breaking eye contact with Cole, I'm just gonna take out my pistol and shoot the console.
Okay. So, and it's sort of like basically if you imagine this spherical object as a planet, there's like a Saturn-like ring around it, right? And it's horizontal in front of Duvain, has some blinking lights on it, some places where you could press buttons or whatever, press on it. And he's jacked into that. So yeah, you would just fire at this crystalline ring structure. You'll hit it easily enough. I'm not going to make you roll, because the challenge of like hitting this is effectively a 1. You're skilled in weapons, like it's easy. So it's a light weapon. So
Yeah.
it'll do 2 points of damage. So you fire. There are some sparks. There's a bit of an explosion. Duvain and Cole, I need you to both make a roll against a sort of intellect attack, as there is a feedback that jolts out of this system and in through your connections.
So do I want to fail this defense, or do I want to pass this defense? I'm not sure. What is the target?
You're not sure.
So the challenge on this is lower. This is going to start out at a 4.
I don't think any of my... I have a bunch of stuff to recover, to heal, not recover. I guess that's a particular term.
Mm-hmm.
But unless initiative or overcoming fear and intimidation apply, which I don't think they do.
No. This is just like because of feedback essentially going directly into your brains.
I'm just gonna take a straight roll. I'm not even gonna. You know what? Can I spend a level of effort on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I'll do that. That's another 4. That's another 3, and that takes it to a level 3?
Yes. Yep. So
Okay.
9 or higher.
I will also spend the same level of effort. Well,
Okay.
That's intellect. Is it intellect or might?
This is intellect.
Okay.
17.
Womp womp womp.
8.
8. Okay.
I was up by 1.
Yeah. So Cole, like when this sparks, you basically, your brain just, for whatever reason, sort of just shuts down and manages to avoid any trauma. And you get disconnected from whatever this is, but you can feel it sort of withdrawing from your brain as you sort of become unstunned with this like cold, almost slithering sensation as it removes itself. Duvain, the whole system overloads directly into your partially augmented neural synapses and does a whopping 5 points of intellect damage.
So how does it work when you go to 0?
So your pool goes to 0. And any... actually, I forget if damage carries over to the next pool.
I had 4. You said that did 5, right?
Yeah. So it
I
drops
thought
that pool. So it drops that pool to 0.
Right.
Yep.
And then the 1 carries over to what?
So normally most damage goes to might. It's pretty rare to go to intellect. So it'll carry over to might. So you'll lose 1 point out of your might pool. Thanks, Nat, for confirming that my notion was correct.
I couldn't carry over to intellect because that was my intellect pool was what went to 0. So
yeah. So like when you take, if someone shoots you, right, it'll go to your might pool. If someone poisons you or something like that, it'll go to your speed pool. If there is a mental attack, it goes to your intellect pool. But anything, if a pool is 0, it carries over to the next highest priority pool, which the highest priority pool is might, the next highest is speed, and then intellect.
I got it. It just sort of wraps around. Okay.
Yeah. And then if you have 3 zeros, you're dead, right?
If you have 3 pools go to 0, you're dead. 1 pool goes to 0, you're going to move on the damage track. So you're going from hail to impaired. And there should be a note on your sheet, so if you hover over it, it'll tell you what impaired means. Do you want to read that so that for our audience who's unfamiliar?
When an impaired character applies effort, it costs 1 extra point per level applied. For example, applying 1 level of effort costs 4 points instead of 3, and applying 2 levels of effort costs 7 points instead of 5. An impaired character ignores minor and major effect results on their rolls, and they don't deal as much extra combat in damage with the special skill roll. Right. In combat, a roll of 17 or higher deals only 1 additional point of damage.
Yeah, so you're relatively hurt, but now you do have recoveries at your disposal, right? So you can heal yourself.
So I can spend just 1 action and recover like a 1d6? Is that how it works?
That's right, although because you're on the damage track, so normally you just initiate that, you roll, and you recover that many points in your pool. And I just need to double check. Yes, as soon as you raise a pool from 0 to 1, you automatically move up 1 on the damage track. So if you spend an action and roll a d6.
Okay. That's a 5.
Yep, so you put 5 points back in your intellect pool.
Okay.
And actually, I think it's 1d6 plus 1, sorry, so you put 6 back.
Oh, okay. I had a 0 in next to my 1d6 plus.
Yep, so it should be 1d6 plus 1.
Okay.
That's what it says in the book.
All right.
And yours might be because of your fuse's flesh, right?
Yeah, so I have a thing, special healing, traditional. Oh, I don't think I can actually do the recovery.
I think you have to sit and you have to tinker with yourself.
Yeah, so traditional healing, blah, 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 work only half as well for me. Every time I start at full health, the first 5 points of damage I can take can never be healed by traditional healing skills, medicines, or techniques, or recovered normally. Instead, you must use repairing skills and ability to restore those points. For example, if you start with a full might pool of 10 and take 8 points of damage, you can use recovery rolls to restore 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
But, oops, I moved the thing.
Yep.
But the remaining 5 points, Google why you make this difficult.
But he doesn't only have 5 points, so he can get back 6 points because your total pool is
pool
is 14.
But the spends don't count. So he's only taken 5 points of damage, right?
But I have to use
and that first 5 he can't heal with recoveries.
Right.
Oh, so you can't recover what you spent? You can only recover from damage?
Well, no, that's true. Yes, you can recover what you've spent.
So, like, if his pool is 9, he took 5 damage.
That's right.
He can still get 4 back and still not be at 0.
That's right. Yes, you were right. Yeah.
So as long as your pool is
whatever, you just have 5 that you can't regain from recoveries.
Okay. All right. So I did get my.
You did get your 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right.
I think because what was your intellect pool total?
14.
Yes. Right. So put 5 back in, and then you come back up, back to hail on the damage track because your pool is now above 0.
13. Why did you do that? It was glorious.
That was real bad. I'm glad that you did that.
We were so close.
Yeah, we were so close to bad things. If you do that again, Duvain, I'm going to kill you.
We were close to Zaddy.
I don't know what any of that word means, but all the rest of them were not good. Are you all right, Cole?
No, but I'll be fine.
Okay. Duvain, are you still alive?
Despite your best efforts, yes.
I'm pleased to hear it. Sophie, are you all right?
Oh, you're muted, Anders.
Oh.
You guys know that if you watch these guys long enough, they do like a figure 8 pattern?
She's fine.
We're so going to die.
Absolutely. But let's make it
But it would be 13's fault. I had a deal.
No.
You made a deal with the demonic robot that tried to possess Cole.
Well, it's not, first of all, it is neither demonic nor a robot. That little toy up there is a robot.
Did you say robot? Head.
Yes,
Cheers.
yes. And also, it didn't try to kill Cole. It tried to embrace him and bring him in. And he did.
No.
You see, the words embrace are never good in any context that involves an AI or anything that doesn't involve wine and candles. No embrace.
You have no idea, sir.
And I am happy not to have any idea. If you go near that machine again and plugged it in, Cole will kill you and then I will help him.
Nebula will protect me.
Nebula is a character in a Marvel movie. Don't worry. She
I
Which
can't touch you.
canonically all exists in this world because
Yes.
that's
I
in your
remember
past.
that name, right? I remember that name from last time because I was there. Anders was
Yes.
there, or Sophie was there too, but I don't know if Sophie was paying attention to the name and trying to get the glowy boxes.
And of course, the device sort of now flares. There's some sparks coming from the damage on the console, but it's localized. There's like a bullet impact, and a voice just emanates from the sphere as lights kind of rise throughout the room, and those circulating orbs all now start moving so that 2 or 3 of them are hovering sort of around each of you, and you can see a little camera-like eye sort of focused on you. Thank you so much for delivering me to a place that I could call home. I appreciate the ride, Duvain.
Does that mean our deal is off?
No, I managed to transfer myself before your friend severed the connection.
I don't think we've been properly introduced.
I am called Nebula Dies in the Void's Grip.
How apt, because you are exactly going to die. What a beautiful name for a beautiful ending.
No, I am afraid that I've managed to replicate myself through this entire systems network already.
Oh good, so that'll give me the chance to kill you 1,000 times over.
What? Why?
You could, but your species is so violent. I have done nothing to damage anybody.
I felt a little damaged.
Oh, well. Your organic brain was momentarily overloaded. I'm afraid I required information.
I don't like the sound of that.
No, that doesn't sound like fun.
That was the deal.
Tell me, is child rearing always so complex among your species?
Yes.
Yep.
I don't know.
Usually if someone wants to have a conversation with me, they buy me a drink first.
Yeah, there's usually some more kind of music involved as well.
Well, I'm sure we could find a fitting soundtrack somewhere.
So
But-
now that you've found your home, what else do you want?
Nothing.
Huh?
Although Duvain requested information. I have found a veritable treasure trove for you.
I'm still waiting for the but or and or if that goes along with all this.
Oh, well, while I have managed to spread myself throughout this system, I don't exactly have full control over it. You'll find that there are plenty of autonomous defensive systems in this installation.
Like robots?
Yes, like robots. Nevertheless, here's a little bit of map for you. And sort of the interior of the sphere sort of illuminates, and it becomes like a holographic 3-dimensional display of the interior of the station. So
I'm still waiting for the butt.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal everybody a couple of asset cards. So because we're iteratively generating this station, right, on the go. So I'm giving you asset cards. Oh, I think I dealt wrong.
think you dealt ciphers.
I dealt ciphers. I meant to deal assets.
Although I would have really liked that one asset. I become invisible.
I was just pulling it up to see what it was.
All right, so I've dealt you all some assets. So like going forward, again, we might need to like reflavor the text on these assets. That's always possible.
This one's perfect for a map.
Yeah, and I just want to show. Right, that doesn't want. Asset deck. There we go. Just wanted to show what asset decks look like. So, for instance, I've just played one of the assets that was in my hand. Feeling creative, you have an idea for making something. Difficulty of any crafting task is decreased by 1 step. So sometimes they will obviously apply, sometimes they won't. We'll reflavor them if necessary, but you can use these assets on sort of any, in this case, like navigation, or if you're trying to like understand maybe what a room does or its purpose, right? It'll all tie back to having this map and some information associated with it, and you can apply that going forward. And basically those will always just like you play it, it'll reduce the difficulty of that task by 1, and then we get rid of the card. But you mentioned ciphers, and that is good because due to 13 shooting and damaging a bit of this console, various like bits of the console, like little access panels and things like that, sprung open, and sort of bits and pieces and bobs of like little weird technical devices fell out. There's things that like a couple of those spheres that were floating around go dead and fall to the ground and sort of crack open, revealing their innards. And you can go ahead and scavenge, and all of you are going to find 2 ciphers.
Scavenging all the little balls.
Woot.
Is Orb acting weird now that Nebulous is controlling things?
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
For now.
Right.
Also, it was a
That's
joy
actually-
to watch Sophie's face when it was like, some of the robots go dead. Oh, and reveal their innards. Yeah.
Don't kill robots unless you know what's inside of them.
Yeah, so basically through all of those like bits and pieces, you just recover little bits of tech that will be single-use items that will do weird things. So I've dealt you all cards. And again, to show people what the cipher cards look like, these ones come from the Strange.
Hours. Holy shiza.
So an example. So we'll roll their level when you go to use them. And while there's like 2 or 3 options on each of these cards, you're only going to pick one. But you can basically pick it at time of use. So you've got 2 cards. You essentially have somewhere between 4 and 6 options of ciphers. It's a little like potent, but it makes it more fun. All right. And there is, of course, as I said, one exit off of this room.
So if we take a scan of the map, can we see any place of interest?
Well, so there is a huge structure in the very middle of the complex that apparently all of the latticework seems to surround, and there is like a large empty space in the very center of this lattice, and there's a couple of large complexes. I'd say that they're fairly spread out, but there's a total of 5 different large installations that are spread out through the interior. Of course, covering this whole thing on foot would be impossible without it taking like weeks and weeks and weeks of exploration, because this is the size of a small moon. But there does also appear to be a bit of a transportation network of some kind. So that maybe could be rendered operational.
Yeah, we should do that first.
Can I study like the subway map equivalent of the big map? Like just the important, that stops there, and then you can take it to
which is so essentially why we have the assets, so we can just do it in play, since we're generating, like, there is no meta, there is no mega, there is no master map for this structure, because we're generating it sort of on the fly.
Yeah, and one of my assets lends itself directly to navigation, so it does exactly that. Yeah. No impediments.
The transport system, if it's operational, would definitely take you to any of these major complexes and installations, as well as points in between, and would definitely take you to the center. So since we have discovered that is a good place to end for the night, and then we can explore probably 1 or 2 locations next session, which will wrap up our 2-parter.
Cool.
You see, 13, everything's fine. We are still on track.
Your definition of fine is different than my definition of fine.
I look for if there's an off button to the communications between me and Davine. Just like slowly puts like a finger up and just goes, boop.
Why is it so difficult with these organics?
We'll go get you embraced by something that won't corrupt your brain.
I want to go find the robots.
I know you do, dear. We're going to find them.
Two SWAT babysitters.
I like Space Mom and Dad, who are also killers.
007 and Natasha Romanoff as Mom and Dad.
I think Vin Diesel did that movie.
Most qualified parents ever.
No, I was thinking of, what's the one with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah,
that's
that one in the chat already.
Yeah.
I think we both have sniper rifles as well, because I was like, I wonder what equipment looks like, and I was like, I have a sniper rifle. Cole has matching sniper rifles.
I actually switched it out to a heavy rifle that I assume can be modded into and out of sniper rifle mode, but I hadn't asked Dan about that yet because I wasn't sure if that was a thing that could happen. Like,
yeah, we're super flexible with
Mass
items
Effect style, like.
Yeah, perfect. I like it. All right, so let's go around, and you can announce anything that you have to announce, and what your favorite moment of the night was, and we'll go in reverse order and start with Kyle.
Hello, I am Kyle. I am Technoscald on Twitter, and I write a blog at technoscald.me on role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon World, other things. So first of all, my favorite moment tonight was a little thing, which is when Sophie was like suddenly floating upside down right in front of our faces, just like, hey, look at this. And as I said, Duvain may be brash, but I think Sophie's great. And it's fantastic. So it was just like this little moment that like encapsulated the character so perfectly. So I love that. Things coming up tomorrow night. we begin Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the final chapter with Hallister's Lair, with Val and several other folks, some of whom are in chat. And then on Sunday at 11 Central, noon Eastern, we'll be back with Gothic Brunch, also with Val and Emma and several other people. And then Sunday night, I'll be back on Variant Roles because I live here now with playing in Corey Hickson's Blades in the Dark.
Excellent. Great. Perfect. Anders.
I'm Anders. You can find me at Anders_D_K. My favorite moment was badass space mom assassin just not even looking and pew. That was great. I had a visible reaction to how much I really loved that. That was awesome and badass. And things coming up. Saturday is the finale of our Saltmarsh campaign salvage operation. There's the words with Val. We're gonna break into the boat and kill the spiders and get the treasure. And it's gonna be really great. And the week after starts my Saltmarsh campaign, which I'm not ready for. And then Monday, continuing my little experimental date night thing over on Hats, Cats, and Clerics on Twitch. We played Kissir Before the World Ends last week, which is a 2-person, very interpersonal little RPG, and we're going to continue on that thread with some Good Omens-esque romance this Monday. So, yeah.
Excellent. Adam.
I'm still Adam. You can find me at Twitter at Adam. I think I'm still Adam. I don't know. Maybe I'm nebulous now. At Adam_J_Pearson. I don't have anything coming up yet. I will be at Gen Con. Who knows what will happen in the next, next week I'll be back. But other than that, that's about it for me.
Excellent. Val.
Hi, I'm Val. I'm the Nerdy Niffler on Twitter. As I said before, tomorrow you can find me with Kyle for Dungeon of the Mad Mage. On Saturday you can find me with Anders and the lovely MK Handsome, who is DMing the finale of our Saltmarsh campaign. And then Sunday you can find me back with Kyle and Emma for Gothic Brunch, because I have like the best week. It's gonna be so cool. That's what I've got coming up. And my favorite moment was it was a tie between everything that was Sophie, because I loved her so much, and just like space mom and dad just being like, no, get down, no, stop being mean to each other, behave.
Oh yeah, my favorite moment was the duality of the little robot when it touched and the eyes went off. I was horror struck, and Anders/Sophie was like, I was just like, no, what is happening? Stop.
Yeah, and those are still on.
Yeah,
those are still on the robot.
It's great.
Super terrible.
I've got a note that they are there. All right, perfect. So yes, I'm Dan at MadSciDM. I've got a relatively light couple of weeks here, oddly enough, over the next little bit. We just got a puppy, so that takes a lot of work, and because of scheduling stuff that are happening in the next couple of weeks, our Saturday Night Invisible Sun won't be back until August 10th, but I'll be here next Thursday, and I'll be hanging out lots in chat as much as I can on everybody else's games that are going on over the next little bit, and cheering everybody on and supporting where I can, and prepping for a bunch of stuff that I have coming up. So my favorite moment, as always, was being a possibly seductive alien AI and rifling through people's brains.
I'm easy. I don't take that much seduction.
Yeah. Duvane's an open book. It's just like rifle through my brain, and Cole, definitely Nebula has rifled through your childhood.
It was just the combination of like seductive robot that kind of going, I'm easy.
Listen. There's nothing better than a seductive alien cosmic horror AI that just wants to, suck in your entire culture and knowledge base.
That's right, which is what she just did. And I mean, as someone who honestly does want to just upload my mind to live in computers forever, that's what I want.
I mean, didn't you tell me that that's already like semi-possible in this world, kind of?
Yeah.
In this
No, absolutely. You can digitize your mind and live in networks and robot bodies
this is
and whatever.
better because this is an entire alien consciousness.
Also, I just want to point out that I don't know if any of us have met Dan in person, so there's no guarantee Dan isn't just a giant AI program right now.
He's a neural network generative deepfake.
Code named Void. Project Void.
Project Void.
All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. We really appreciate it. Hanging out in chat. That always makes it great when you throw ideas our way. Or in Adam's case, remind me that Duvain had an alien AI in his brain. Which is perfect because it actually slipped my mind. So that's great. We're going to raid, I think, WebDM. Because they're friends of ours. They're doing good things. And a large number of us were hanging out in 3 chats last night. Ours and WebDM's and Dice Priorities. So I think we'll throw them over with a raid. Okay, so I've got that set up. And I am going to throw us to our opener video again because it's awesome. Night, everybody.